Before David Gracious West had gotten bored of the idea of stealing, he began to flirt with the concept of murder. And boy, oh boy, that idea intrigued the hell out of him.
I killed a girl at Rumala. I killed a girl at GRA. I killed a girl at Shasamadi. I killed a girl at Obibo. Then a girl at town. Then there was one at market area. Market. Then I killed a girl at Omoko. I killed a girl at Bayasa. I killed a girl at Sapele. I killed a girl at Ibadan. Abba. Then there's another one at Bini.
So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Quick one guys. I'm so happy to announce to you guys that on this channel we now qualify for channel membership, and you might ask, what do I stand to gain as a special member of Nezeville's channel? First, your comments are prioritized, so I get to see them and respond to them every single time. You can also place special requests on the video that you would like for me to handle. And again, I see you guys reach out to me both in the comment section and privately, commending me for all the hard work that I put in my research and my videos. And if you're looking for an ideal way to say thank you and encourage me, joining my channel membership is just the perfect thing to do. So look down below my name and you're going to see a place where they wrote to join the Nezeville membership, and I will be so happy to have you there. Thank you. So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Motive is a very important factor when committing or unraveling a crime. It is the underlying reason why crimes are committed in the first place. People's motives for committing crimes in Nigeria is usually for financial enrichment. Others could be for revenge or maybe ambition. But what is very alien here is people committing crimes, heinous crimes, for no reason, no motive, no agenda whatsoever. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be taking us through the dark and chilling story of Gracious David West, Nigeria's first known serial killer, who carried out a string of heinous murders, targeting young defenseless girls with no motive at all but pleasure and self-gratification. 40-year-old Gracious David West, who hails from the Buguma area in Rivers State, Nigeria, is a product of a polygamous home. And just like many other psychopaths like himself, he had a very dysfunctional childhood. His father was married to his stepmother, and that marriage produced 4 daughters. Highly dissatisfied that all his children were of female gender and very desirous to have a son, Gracious's father secretly impregnated and married his mother, and then camped her far away from his family without even the decency of informing his wife. Gracious's mother went ahead to bear him, and he would become the first and only child of his mother, a son that his father so craved for, and a son that he would eventually wish he never had. According to Gracious, when his stepmother discovered that her husband, his father, had fathered a love child outside his home, she was beyond furious and consumed with the feeling of betrayal. She hence vowed to take revenge. You see, Gracious was born into abject poverty as a hidden child. He lacked basic financial resources, and more critically, he lacked the presence, the influence, and the guidance of a father or a father figure, because his father resided with his first wife and merely visited him and his mother occasionally. When Gracious David West was about 11 years old, he got an unusual visit from his stepmother. According to him, when his stepmother visited, his biological mother was not at home. His stepmother had offered him a meal to eat, and despite hidden signals his uncle tried to pass to him to make him not to eat that food, he was quite young, unsuspecting, and naive. He went ahead to eat it. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, according to Gracious, was the beginning of his life woes. After that visit and incident, Gracious David West developed a compulsive craving for crime. He became a notorious thief, a dangerous cultist, and a nuisance to his community. He started with stealing fuel, picking pockets, and then later graduated to hijacking bikes and stealing motorcycles. Every effort made by the community and David's mother to get him to be of good conduct amounted to futility as he persisted in his crimes until he was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 4 years imprisonment for stealing. He did his time at the Ahoda prisons there in Port Harcourt. While in prison, Gracious's father, badly stricken by worry and hurt about his son's behavior, died. It was reported that he couldn't bear or stand to see the monster that his son, a son that he had craved so badly to have, had become. After serving his time, Gracious, the confessed cultist and the ex-convicted felon, was released back into society with no money, no plans, and a community that was very unwilling to reintegrate him. In a bid to survive, Gracious had approached a man who was in the business of phone repairs. He had pleaded with the man to help him as he had nowhere to go. As fate would have it, this man was benevolent enough to accept Gracious and agreed to take him in as an apprentice to teach him the job of phone repairs. But just like the proverbial chameleon that never changes its colors, Gracious David West was an incorrigible liar, an ingrate, and had a compulsive and obsessive desire for crime. He totally detested a legitimate means of survival. Before long, as expected, he started stealing from his benefactor. He stole and stole so much that it became apparent he had to run away. And there he went, disappeared into thin air with his benefactor's belongings. David had left the oil city of Port Harcourt and had relocated to Owerri, the capital city of Imo State. He got a job there to supervise some students who were taking photography classes. And on that day, they had their photography examinations and they were not required to go into the hall with their phones. They were made to submit their phones and gadgets to the invigilator, David West. A move they will soon regret, because the second they handed their phones and electrical gadgets to David West, he absconded with all the items, stole a car, and disappeared into thin air. But luck, however, ran out on David West, because soon after that crime, he was arrested and again arraigned before a court. But due to the lack of interest of the witnesses to appear before the courts to give their own testimony, the trial was frustrated, and the magistrate had no other option but to strike out the case, and once again, Gracious David West was a free man. At this point, David claimed to have gotten weary of his life of crime, and he began seeking solutions. He said that he had visited the Omega Power Ministry, OPM, a very huge church located in Port Harcourt, and that every effort to meet with the General Overseer, the GO, for prayers and possible deliverance proved abortive, as he was tossed around endlessly and still got no chance to meet with Daddy GO. Right there at the church, he sat, frustrated, penniless, hopeless, and homeless. He then approached a lady who ran a canteen business, like a food business, right there in the church premises, and pleaded with her to employ him to work in her canteen. Luckily for him again, she agreed. But just a few days after resumption as a staff in that establishment, Gracious David West carted off with all the sales proceeds and ran away. As though David Gracious West had gotten bored of the idea of stealing, he began to flirt with the concept of murder. And boy, oh boy, that idea intrigued the hell out of him. And before long, his imagination gave birth to action. Gracious's first kill was in the Ikeja area of Lagos. He had visited a bar, and after one or two bottles, he began to nurse an overwhelming urge to kill. He then picked up a prostitute, took her to his hotel room, paid her upfront for her service, bought her a meal, and got her to feel very relaxed. After a series of sex romps around the hours of 4:30 a.m. to 5, when the lady laid fast asleep, Gracious woke her up with a knife on her throat. He threatened to kill her if she dared to scream, and then went ahead to increase the volume on the television set, so even if she did, no one would hear her. He then went ahead and tied up her arms and legs backwards and then strangled her to death. The feeling of satisfaction that he felt after that was second to none. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, was the beginning of a psychopathic serial killer who will end up killing almost 24 women in the most gruesome fashion for no reason but the absolute fun of it. Gracious's next kill was in Owerri. Just like Gulliver, he was a big traveler, going from state to state, murdering young women. The approach he adopted to end the life of his second victim was no different from the first. And just like most serial killers, Gracious David West sure had a pattern. First, he preys on easy targets, prostitutes, whose disappearance and deaths will most likely go unnoticed, unreported, or unprobed. Secondly, he made use of low-cost hotels with no data recording, very weak security, and no closed-circuit television, CCTVs, hence making identifying and tracking him almost impossible. Thirdly, his excitement was in the act of strangulation. The prospect of having his victims struggle for breath and pass slowly and painfully gave him the kick, as even when he always had ample opportunity to stab them with his knife in their sleep. No, not Gracious. He always woke them up, made sure they were conscious to feel the pain, tied them up with the white sheets of the hotel, and then go ahead to strangle them. Many times he would go ahead to steal from his victims, but no, not for financial gains, solely for the purpose of funding his next kill. So that was how Gracious went ahead, from one state to another, getting increasingly bolder and thirstier. With every passing kill, he seemed unstoppable. Outraged by these occurrences, fear and apprehension began spreading like wildfire. Several women groups and activists took to the streets, protesting the incessant and unexplained killings of young girls in their communities.
Since July 2019, at least 9 young women have been murdered in similar circumstances in Port Harcourt.
We are saying that enough of the killing.
We're here to protest the fact we're losing our daughters, we're losing our sisters.
Women are not safe any longer in the state.
As at the last count, it's about 10 women being killed in hotels.
At this point, the Rivers State security operatives knew that there was no shying away from this one. Hence, an intense manhunt for Gracious David West got into full swing. But did that deter him? No. Gracious David West had just done what he knew how to do best at another hotel in Port Harcourt. But unknown to him this time around, this hotel had hidden CCTV in their facility. And after his abomination, he left, but the cameras caught him. When he left and the hotel management discovered the body of his victim, they immediately alerted the police. Upon examination of the crime scene, it was discovered that the murder was carried out in the exact same fashion that the haunted serial killer had adopted in the past. The CCTV clip went viral on social media and everybody was thrown into a frenzy. Hence, it became apparent that this man, the man in the CCTV video, is the same man that has been carrying out these ruthless and baseless murders all around the states. He was declared wanted. On the 19th of September 2019, when Gracious discovered that his identity was now public knowledge and that a manhunt for him had commenced, he immediately took to his heels in an attempt to escape from Port Harcourt to Akwa Ibom to continue his crimes. But he ran out of all the luck left for him. Security agents found him in a commercial bus en route to Uyo. He was arrested, paraded, charged to court, convicted for murder, and sentenced to die. It is important that I add that Gracious's lawyer, his counsel, has appealed the judgment of this court and taken the case to a higher court. And as at today, as that we speak, that sentence and execution is yet to be carried out. In the interim, Gracious has come out to plead for forgiveness.
I'm tired. Seriously. Tired of what the rubbish I was doing. As I went to that pastor, I need his help. Any he can help me out of this problem. These people's lives that I wasted. Oh God. Oh, Gracious. My stepmother will be satisfied now. She has destroyed me.
He is asking and begging for a second chance. According to him, he didn't do it. It wasn't his own making. He didn't mean to do it. He was compelled by a force higher than him. He didn't have himself under control. He didn't know what he was doing. He was controlled by an unknown force.
But whenever the force has come on me, I'll look for a girl for me to sleep with. After sleeping with a girl, I'll kill her.
He has asked that he be forgiven and given another chance at life.
So if I see you, I don't see you as anything. That moment, I don't see you as something. That's how when it comes upon me. That's how it does. Until when I've done what I want to do, and I will start regretting, start crying. Why have I done this? That's how it comes upon me.
Do let us know what you think about that. Do you think he was quite lucid and aware of all his crimes? Or do you actually think that it was spiritual manipulation? Although some people are of the opinion that Gracious David West is indeed a serial killer, first of his kind in Nigeria, and had committed all his atrocities with no motives, some other people hold a different opinion. They claim that the suspects that Gracious is no serial killer. Rather, he is a tool and an agent for ritual killings, and that he works for powerful, influential, rich men. A claim which he himself has debunked. I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you really think? Do you think that Gracious is just a sick sociopath, psychopath, serial killer, lunatic, who derives pleasure snuffing life out of people? Or do you actually think that he was an agent hired by rich influential people to execute money ritual killings? Let me get your thoughts in the comment section. So that, my dear audience, was the story of Gracious David West, Nigeria's first and only known serial killer, who had devoted his whole life to crime, and because he lived, almost 24 women lost their lives. What a sad and chilling story. Do let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you've stuck around with me till the end, thank you once again. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and join the family. There's so much more coming your way. Drop your comments in the comment section, and don't forget to join my exclusive club and get noticed and have many privileged rights accrued to you. Click on join down below. It's me again, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezaville. I'll see you guys in my next video. For now, bye.